Hello, this is DrPaulCottrell, and I am doing a video on August 28th to discuss a couple topics. I'll probably do a few videos, but they're going to be smaller videos, not all-encompassing. This video is talking about Fauci and Collins. So we do know that Fauci announced his retirement recently. Actually, it was August 22nd. And I kind of gave a hint to people on Twitter that this was going to happen. Now, why is this important? You have to look at it in the context of what has been going on at the NIH for decades. And the two key players at the NIH were Fauci and Francis Collins. Now, Collins has retired from the NIH. He was the one that ran the NIH. Fauci worked under Collins. And during the congressional hearings that have been transpiring for most of this year and part of last year, we started to hear from Senator Rand Paul about how the NIH was funding certain grants and how that may be part of this crisis. Now, I'm parsing my words so I can keep this video up. So the ones that have been watching me know exactly what I'm saying. So Collins retires, and a lot of people, so this is Collins, this is Fauci, right? So Francis Collins was part of the Genome Project. He was, part of the Big Four, right? And a lot of his research is taking genomic data and mining it and understanding it. Now, I wrote a book about genomic research, all right? Yeah, I think I called it Genomic Revolution. The Genomic Revolution, I think is the name of the title of the book. You can get this on my website or on Amazon. This is based on my coursework where I took my genomics class at Harvard University. So Collins was part of that sequencing of the genome. And his research is, how do you take that data? How do you, extrapolate diseases from that data? Maybe disease prevalence, maybe particular risk factors for an individual with certain diseases. And then we started finding out, while they were sequencing the genome, there was a theory that it was about single nucleotide polymorphisms that cause diseases. And they found out eventually that that is partially true for certain diseases, and that it's not necessarily a single nucleotide polymorphism that is causing it. It's in a multitude of things. And it's not just the genomic code, it's also the methylization of the code, or the acetylation of the code. Which basically means the epigenetics of it. So that was kind of the one major revelation of coding, sequencing the genome. Now, in another one was, they thought that the genome was actually larger based on the proteins that were created. What were like the coding gene, how many coding genes do we have? We actually have a lot less than they thought. So those are like the two big things that came out of the sequencing of the first draft. But Collins was one of the major researchers. Now, why am I bringing this up? A lot of sequencing has been taking place since then. So the rough draft takes place, what is the genome? But everyone has a slightly different genome, right? That's what makes us individuals. There's like a 1% or less difference, but that 1% difference is really important. So you can take this data and figure out what type of drugs might work for a particular patient. It's called precision medicine. You can do GWAS studies where it's like a global assessment of a database of genomic data and determine what the association between diseases and certain genes are. This parlays into this concept that a lot of diseases are not SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. So this is where the GWAS studies were starting to come about. I write about this in my book. So Collins, his research side of this, he's a bureaucrat and an admin guy at NIH, right? But he's also a researcher. And his research studies are tied to genomic sequencing and mining that data, okay? He already said when he was retiring that he was going to continue on in his laboratory studies, all right? So we have now a plethora of genomic code that has been collected. And lots of these databases are being built up and mined, right? And doing these GWAS studies and precision medicine. But from a weapons point of view, you can understand someone's code or epigenetics and be able to find susceptibility with certain types of drugs that may actually harm the body versus certain types of drugs that may actually help the body through a disease process. There's a nefarious thing that can be had with GWAS, and there can be benefits through GWAS. So Collins, in my take, is leaving the NIH so he doesn't have congressional oversight, so he can continue on genomic-wide studies, all right, in precision medicine and in further nefarious development, dark development, all right? And Fauci is leaving because he doesn't want the government oversight, the congressional oversight. And he has a lot of patents that are tied to a lot of things that have been happening recently, all right? He's done research in HIV, and HIV seems to have a strong correlation to, or an association with, what's going on currently. And by leaving that whole government bureaucracy and oversight from Congress, Fauci can also continue on cashing in on some of the patents, and he doesn't have to deal with the oversight. And he even said that he was going to continue on with the next chapter of his life, which is basic. And he said because he has the energy, he's doing something very similar to what Collins is doing. He's going to be very targeted with HIV, and maybe some of the therapies that have been coming out for this particular crisis that we're in. And Collins is going to be using the database, the genomic database, to do further research that I think are in hand with what Fauci's going to be doing. I think there's going to be a lot of research on HIV that's going to be coming up. I think there's going to be a lot of research on antiviral type technologies and therapies. But they're leaving to be away from the oversight, because if they're called to Congress post their position in government, they can say, well, I'm a private citizen now, and they can only really say things and comment on certain questions that are related to their particular moment in the NIH. And it's a lot easier to just kind of skirt the issue and just say, I'm a private citizen now. But it allows them to cash in, allows them to be part of the dark development without the congressional oversight. And that is the big part of this. These two players are key in terms of some of the things that have happened recently in the last 2 years. So Collins, he's not retiring. He's using his knowledge about genomics and his laboratory to be able to have precision medicine or a dark development of precision anti-medicine. Fauci, he's not going to be on the genomic side. He's going to be more on the more specific therapeutic side. So that's my take on the retirement of these two individuals. They were distant, so you would forget that there's a connection. Collins leaves first. Collins knew that there was funding that was going on during the 2008 all the way to 2015 or so research and gain of function. And obviously, Fauci, with the emails that came out, there's proof. And funding numbers, NIH funding numbers, the grant numbers, and the number of dollars within the grant are known for particular development. So, and how that all parlays with EcoHealth Alliance and One Health, right? This is all one big, larger picture here. The NIH is a piece of it. There's One Health that's a piece of it. The WHO is a piece of it. Some of it's coordinated, some of it's not coordinated. But these two guys, they're retiring, so you don't have government oversight. And they're not retiring. They are just going dark. And Fauci's going to have a big payout by doing this. So that's my take on it's not just Fauci retiring, it is also Collins and what he's going to be doing in his laboratory with genomic studies. So please support the channel by going to the links that are underneath the description for my videos and subscribe to all my channels. I have 3 YouTube channels. I have a Brighteon, a Rumble, and Bitchute channel. Please subscribe to that. If you could, please subscribe and be a Patreon member for a nominal fee. That helps support the channel. And if you can, please go to my store, the-studio-rickvick.com, and purchase the health products that I offer. I offer antioxidant products. I offer supplements, pathogen neutralization products, and natural deodorants, and a even better bar that will help with bug bites, eczema, muscle pain. And it's a bar that you just rub in that area and you actually will not have itching or irritation or muscle pain almost immediately. It's like it kicks in anywhere between 30 seconds to about I don't know, about a minute or so, depending on what the issue is. So please go to my store and purchase the products. Also, you can donate on my homepage, the-studio-rickvick.com, and you can donate on Stripe or PayPal. That would help with supporting my work. But I really, to improve your health, you need to purchase the products. All right. So some of the products that you can purchase there, I have different types of products, right? I have lots of ways to get my products. So one great product is Health Max 35. All right. You can see the Health Max 35. All right. And this will help neutralize pathogens. You take a teaspoon or a tablespoon of this a day, and you'll start noticing an improvement in your health. Now, I also have resveratrol, which is a great antioxidant. It helps. It's part of this anti-aging protocol that I have. And ashwagandha root will help with controlling your glucose levels. And by not having a very high glucose level, what will happen is you'll be reducing your inflammation. Turmeric. This product is awesome in terms of reducing inflammation. And if you don't have chronic inflammation, you won't age as fast. A probiotic is a pre and probiotic. This is a pre and probiotic that I take every day. I have a powder form and I have a tablet form the tablet form is from Amio. But you take this every day, and you'll notice is that you'll have a better gut biome. And by having a better gut biome, you are metabolizing your food better. You actually are metabolizing other chemicals that your body is producing that your body needs for energy, proper mental health. And there's a in the gut biome and your liver. So there's a communication that's going on between your liver and your biome in your intestinal tract. And the bacteria in the intestinal tract, if it's in the proper ratio and you have the right type of bacteria in it, then you will start to see that your metabolism is actually better. And a lot of people that have almost like weight gain, it's been happening for years, a big part of that is improper gut biome. I have Clarity Factor. I take this twice a day. I take it in the morning and in the afternoon, and this will reduce brain fog. This helps with concentrating on your work or your studies. And with that, you'll also notice that you have more just energy to do things, right? And so there is this theory about dendrites and neurons, and that if you have these neurons firing more often and not in kind of like a low energy state, but in a higher energy state, then the dendrites of these neurons will start to spread and connect to other neurons. So it's not just the number of neurons that you have in your brain, it's also the connection of the neurons in your brain, the conductivity of it. So if you increase, as you get older, that conductivity starts to wane. When you are young and you are developing, the conductivity in general is increasing. Now, there is hypoconductivity and hyperconductivity, and certain areas of the brain are pruning when you're young, but that's a more medical concept. But in general, when you age, you start to see pruning that is taking place of those dendrites. But by taking Clarity Factor and taking anti-inflammatory type supplements like turmeric and the resveratrol, which is antioxidants, what will happen is that you'll start building up your ATP. You'll start having better mitochondrial health. The vesicles that are shooting out these different neurotransmitters will have the proper concentration in the synaptic cleft. And what will happen is that you'll have growth factors. Your body produces growth factors all the time, right? But what will happen is that when you are taking Clarity Factor and you had this, more concentration in you are having your neurons firing more, those dendrites will start to spread because of those growth factors and connect to other neurons. And then that's how memory is produced, and how you are able to think faster. A lot of times when you see people that are getting older, they can't think as fast. The processing is slower, their walking is slower. That is because the whole neural network in the cerebellum, in the cerebrum, is all starting to prune. And, you know, you can slow that down, if not reverse that, by increasing the dendritic connections. So take my advice. Do, you know, adequate exercising. Walking is a great way to do this, but adequate exercising, adequate diet, and proper supplementation will actually slow down aging. It won't prevent aging, but it will slow it down. And what will happen is when you're boosting up your immune system, your body is healing. It's hard to heal when you're in chronic inflammation. So, and there's good inflammation and bad inflammation. I'm talking about when I'm bringing inflammation down, it's the bad inflammation. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting my work. In addition, in the links, you can also purchase products, not just on my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, but you can also purchase products directly from Boomer by clicking the link, and you will get a discount by clicking that Boomer product link. In addition, I've partnered up with Brighteon's store with Mike Adams, so you can purchase on the Brighteon store items that I don't carry on my store. So you can purchase products by helping my channel 3 different ways. You can purchase products directly from me, which is the-studio-reykjavik.com, through the link that's in the description for Boomer, and you'll get a discount on that. And then you can also purchase through Brighteon store through the link that's in the description in this video, and you'll be able to help support my work also. There's a lot of products that Mike offers on Brighteon store that I don't, but this way, this is a great way to be able to get the products you need, the products that you want, that fits your needs, you know, especially like the prepping stuff. That's more Mike Adams, you know, but the anti-aging curation, you know, that's more what I'm doing. All right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting my work, and have a nice day.